Okay, so this week, welcome to session 4. We're talking about open education. I found this online, created by this guy, James Neal, okay? And he talks about open education. I just thought it was really good, so I thought that I would use this kind of as a platform to introduce the topic. You notice down here, he's got the Creative Commons license, so I just want to talk about that really quick because I think this is good modeling for what he's trying to do. If I go here and go to my Creative Commons, he's got no copyright. Okay, so you can use this and with no repercussions when it comes to copyright. Creative Commons is just a way that you can go and almost copyright your own work. Okay, so again, we can use this tool for our own work, even if it was restricted because of fair use in educational practices, we can use that. But just wanted to show that there's no copyright on this. That he has basically waived his rights to ownership on this so that it can be used, which I think is appropriate given what we're talking about. Essentially, open education, like he says right here, it's a really loose term. We can be talking about open courseware. MIT started that, I think, back in around 2002. We can be talking about MOOCs, massively online open courses, which really became popular around 2011 or so. In fact, DBU has waded into the waters of the MOOCs and creating that. And essentially, the whole point here is, like he says, education's been closed for too long, and it's restricted to people that can pay for it and all of those types of things. And so, having open education really opens the door for, as it says down here, making our intellectual capital available to everyone, which I think is a brilliant way to put it. There are some definite advantage. Okay, again, you've got the opportunity to try before you buy. A lot of colleges, universities now are saying, hey, we'll let you sign into a class, we'll let you give it a go, and it's free of charge. And if you like it, then you can enroll. Okay, so there's an opportunity there. Again, agility, it's able to be changed and reformatted and mixed up, and the instructional design can change, which is nice. Okay, people can actually take some of those courses in some instances and make it fit for their particular application or population. Um, Time, usually these courses are not necessarily restricted to semesters. Sometimes they are, and so students can take as long as they need to work through the course and really get a deeper understanding and knowledge of the content instead of maybe rushing through because they've got a deadline or they've got other things that are happening in their life. Um, he talks about cost reduction. Okay, a lot of times these open resources, most times they're free, and so obviously there's a huge cost reduction there working with open materials and open courseware and stuff like that. Um, Archiving, which is really great because now we get to use the internet as this huge archive for all of these things. They're not necessarily limited to a professor's bookshelf or desk. They're more or less there permanently, and hopefully will remain publicly accessible for free. As the author intended them to be. Access is huge. It's more accessible to students and teachers all across the world. We're not necessarily limiting people based on their economic situation and whether or not they can afford that education. And that's a whole nother soapbox for another day. But hopefully these open education type opportunities can break some of the cycles of poverty, where sometimes people with lower SES are sometimes precluded from higher education that they need to actually break the poverty cycle. And so this is another way to do that. It's not just in a lot of cases, open education, it's still put out by credible sources, whether it be universities like DBU or Harvard or MIT, or there's universities in Britain that have been doing it for a long time. These are still peer reviewed, still go through the process, much like any course would. So it's still really good material for the most part. And again, it's just really exciting things. Some of the drawbacks are that really open education for the most part is designed purely for learning, and there's not necessarily a certification or a degree or a badge that follows that. Sometimes there are if you're willing to pay for it. However, the vast majority of these opportunities don't come with any credentials. It's really just that you have the ability to learn, and for some people that's enough. For some people, they need those credentials. They need that proof that they've been through it. And so, open education offers that in some cases, but a lot of times, to get that credential, to get that degree, to get that credit, at that point, yes, it's open for you to learn, but it's still closed in the sense that you've got to pay for it to get the proof that you've actually learned something. So um, I'm looking forward to the discussion this week and what you guys are bringing to the table in your presentations, and looking forward to good class discussion. As always, if you've got questions, let me know. Email me, call me, text me, contact me in online. You can start a discussion if you need to, and let's start a conversation, and let's see where this takes us. So have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.